Hello, my name is Dominique and I have a restaurant called Dominique's in Los Boliches, Fuengirola on the Costa del Sol. So if you're ever in the area, please come and pay us a visit. Today we're going to make a lasagna with bolognese. So we're going to make our bolognese with 1 kilo of minced beef, 3 carrots, an onion, 3 garlics, a piece of celery, tinned tomatoes, blended or in pieces, it doesn't matter, whatever you prefer, our lasagna packets, some white wine and some mushrooms. The mushrooms is optional. If you don't like them, you don't have to have them. We use 2 different kinds of cheese to give it some more flavour. For the bechamel, we're going to need some flour, we're going to need milk, room temperature please, we're going to need some nutmeg and some butter. And now we're going to roughly chop up all of our vegetables. We're going to put our saucepan on heat with some olive oil. Whilst that's heating up, we're chopping our vegetables. And now we're going to put all of our vegetables in our saucepan that's nice and hot, and we're going to give it a stir. And then we're going to add our tinned tomatoes. Once we add this in, we're going to add in a little bit of water, into the tin so we could use up what's left of the tomato. Add that in there, give it a good old stir, and now we're going to blend all of this. Don't worry, it will be quite tough because the carrots are still raw, but it doesn't matter because this is going to cook in the sauce. So here we are, as you can see, no pieces of vegetables, so no children can complain. And now we're going to add our lump of minced beef. We use our spatula to separate it all so it's all very equally in the sauce. And now we're going to leave this to cook. In the meantime, we're going to condiment it. So we need a fair amount of salt, some white pepper, a bay leaf, quite a bit of oregano, some white wine, and if you've got any basil, you can always add some basil to it, dry or fresh, whatever you've got in the cupboard. And now we're going to let this cook on a low heat. We need this to cook for about an hour and a half. Before we mount our lasagna, we actually need the bolognese sauce to be cool. So we can prepare this in the morning, so we can bake the lasagna in the evening, or we can prepare it one day before. This bubbles a lot and it makes quite a mess. Don't worry about it. Just make sure that we cook it on a low heat for an hour to an hour and a half. So we've left this now in the fridge for a few hours so it can get cool, and we're going to make our bechamel. So we've got our butter, 3 tablespoons full. We melt the butter and we add 3 tablespoonfuls of flour. Equal amount of butter to equal amount of flour. Keep stirring until we make a roux, which is a golden brown mixture. This is the base of any sauce really. So once you can see that it's a darker colour and it's thickening and it's just about releasing from the bottom of the pan, you know that this is the time to add the milk. And we're going to add our milk little by little, but we must stir constantly because we don't want any bits. So now we add the milk and we stir again, and we keep stirring. You'll see that the sauce will start getting thicker. As it gets thicker, just like it is now, we add some more milk and we stir and we stir, and then we add some more milk and we stir until we get the right consistency for a bechamel. So then we take it off the heat, we add some salt, some white pepper and some nutmeg. And now we're going to mount our lasagna. So we have our lasagna, which we wet in lukewarm water. We put this at the bottom, and then we're going to add our bolognese sauce, which is slightly chilled. We don't add loads because when this heats, it will expand. And then we add a little bit of our bechamel, just like that. And then a little bit of cheese. And now we repeat the procedure. We do the lasagna, the bolognese, the bechamel and a little bit of cheese until we get almost to the top. Now our last layer, so we don't want to use up all of our bolognese, we don't want to use up all of our bechamel, because our last layer will have a thicker layer of bolognese and it will have a thicker layer of bechamel, as you can see. Now this amount of bolognese sauce can actually make you two, so you can use it, you can put this in the freezer and you can use it another time, or you can use it for spaghetti bolognese because it is just a bolognese sauce. So now you see we're adding the rest of our bechamel, spread it all out very nicely with a spoon, and then we add a fair amount of cheese at the top. Nothing in comparison to the amount that we've been adding when we've been mounting it. Just like this. Add some oregano, a nice amount of oregano as well. While we're doing all of this, we've already turned our oven on to about 220, 230. And so once this is mounted, we're going to put this into the oven and we're going to leave it to bake for about 30 to 45 minutes. And now our lasagna is ready. You can take it out earlier if you want it less crispy. This is beautiful. I hope you enjoy it and see you soon.